Hi, everyone, and welcome back to the Surviving UX podcast, where we jump around on topics more than you might jump around in your UX career.
Hey Meg, how's it going?
It's going all right. It's going all right. It's a Monday here. Well, it's a Monday everywhere, I guess, but it's a Monday while we're recording, and it's a trying to start the week off strong. How about you?
Pretty good, pretty good. I have already lost track of time.
Oh, well,
And
then it's a helpful reminder, I guess, that I mentioned it's Monday.
so on Friday, I asked my husband, what day is it? Is it Monday? And he looked at me and said, oh, honey, because literally 1 week out of work and I don't know what day it is. And I'm not even close. So time has just melted together for me entirely. But I did see something interesting on LinkedIn. It was the
Mhm.
call for UXPA proposals for 2023, and it took me back in the day when we submitted proposals, and I was thinking, I wonder, should I try to submit something? What about you? Have you thought about doing any conference submissions?
June 2023 feels like light years away. I
Yeah,
I'm like, oh wow, that just seems like I can't plan that far in advance. I can barely plan 3 hours in advance these
right.
days. But it's very, very admirable of you. When is the
Hmm.
deadline? How much time do I have to
Let's
come up with
see. I think
something?
they just extended it, which is why I saw
Ah,
a extension. Let me see. Um, I don't know. I don't know. I'll just have to look. I don't
yeah.
see a deadline on there, but
And the other thing is, where is it at? Because I only go to cool places.
oh, okay. It says it's extended to Sunday at midnight, and
Oh.
it's in Austin, Texas in June. So it's going to be nice and cool and breezy, I'm sure. Pleasant weather to be expected.
And you'll be
Um,
there with every other bachelorette party in the history of time.
oh, I thought you were going to talk about The Bachelor at the show, but
Yeah.
if they're there, I'm definitely going to be there. Maybe I could tie in a bachelorette theme to my proposal and get some ideas going that way, get some attendees. But I don't know, we'll see. If I can dream something up by Sunday night, we'll see. I'm not sure.
I think you
But I
should
would
do
like to
it.
try. Like to
I'm
try.
I'm 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 proud of your ambition and I am 100% behind you.
They're not that hard to write, honestly. It's like not a lot of text that you have to write for a
Hmm.
proposal. It's more just like, what's the idea,
Right.
you know? And is it going to be a draw? Because I don't know.
Hmm.
But I've sat through so many mediocre conference presentations. That's why I have sort of this false confidence because I'm like, if that bozo can talk about this dull topic, then I can talk about something. I can keep an audience entertained for half an hour or whatever, 60 minutes.
Well,
So,
go ahead and get your ideas down. I will if you need someone to look them over, I'm more than happy to do it.
all
And
right.
I think you should. So,
Okay. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. So folks, this week we are so excited because for the first time on the show, we have an actual living, breathing UX student as her master's in HCI, human computer interaction, and user experience at Drexel University in Philly. She recently completed a summer internship at AWS. Please welcome Adaeze Ezekwerre.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
We're
thank you
so
for being
excited,
here.
Adessa. Yes. So exciting because we always skew toward like people who are like old and crusty and have been around forever in UX and have like all these war stories, which I totally love, by the way. But I think it's fascinating to talk to somebody who's getting into this field because it's so much more defined as a field of study now than it used to be. And I feel like the fact that they even have this as a major in schools is way different than how things were 5 or 10 years ago, where it was like a lot of boot camps and stuff like that. I mean, I'm
Hmm.
sure that's still around, but anyway, we are thrilled to have you. Adaeze, tell us a little bit about how you decided to get into UX. I know that you have an interest in illustration and visual arts. Did that play a role, or what brought you into this path?
The main reason was my friend. She was actually interested in UX design. In my undergrad, she majored in um, information systems with like a minor in UX. So I didn't really know of UX until I heard it from her. And that was like my junior year of undergrad. And it was kind of like lingering in the back of my mind. I wasn't really sure if I wanted to get into it because at the time I had switched my major from bio pre-med to psychology. So I wasn't sure what I wanted to do exactly with psychology. So I was just kind of tinkering with the idea of like what UX was, but wasn't really too serious about it.
Mm-hmm.
And then I started looking more into it my senior year, started like researching more about it, and I found like a big interest in it. And so I tried to like go the self-taught route, but
Mm,
that didn't really work out for me. I like more structure. So like I decided to apply to master's programs in UX and HCI. But my interest in visual arts did play somewhat of a role because I like designing and painting. I wanted a career that was allowed me to be creative, but also allowed me to be technical and allowed me to like think. So I thought UX was like the best role for me, honestly.
It's really cool that you moved from, like you said, biology or pre-med to psychology and then now into UX. I mean, I know that that seems like pretty bold moves, but for you, is there a tie-in there?
Um, well, for when I did biology, it was mainly because I thought that was something I was supposed to do. Like it was something to please my parents in a way. Like biology, major in biology, go to med school, be a doctor. So when made the switch to psychology, um, and then I learned more about UX, there was like some things related within psychology and UX that I found interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So I decided to like just continue on to that path
mhm.
Yeah.
and learn more about it.
Speaking of parents, back in the day when I was an undergrad and doing sociology as my major, because there was no UX type HCI type thing then there, but they gave us this like pamphlet that was like how to talk to people, and it was like subtext your parents about the degree you're getting and like and like what it means and what kinds of jobs you can have, and like they kind of like prepped us for the fact that like you might be choosing something that's like maybe a little different, a little like your parents wouldn't understand. So, what do you think
That's
your parents
hilarious.
think of your new chosen career path?
Honestly, they're so happy for me.
It's
Like
great.
just finishing my internship, my mom and my dad just keep on saying they're so proud of me that
Aw.
yeah, they're because my mom would just tell me how like I s- just talking about like my journey um with college and with this internship and how like I did this all on my own. Like I didn't get any help from anybody. I just did it on my own, and that I figured this out on my own. Um, and because I she was telling me that I wanted to please her, but it's not that she wanted me to please her with going into medicine. It was like she was saying it was all in my head, I guess.
Mm,
Mm,
But yeah, they're really happy that I like chose UX and they can tell that I'm happy. So
aw.
they always tell us like as long as we are happy with our careers, it doesn't really matter what we do, whether it be if I chose to be like an artist full time or if my brothers just chose to be a barber, as long as like we're happy with what we
Mm-hmm.
decided, then
That's
it
good.
shouldn't matter. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh man, that's really nice. Thanks, mom and dad. Yeah, I mean it's tough. That's a tough conversation. I've thought a lot about when that day comes. I have young kids, but I think about, when we talk about college choices and majors and things like that, like should I nudge them in a particular direction? Should I lecture them about particular career paths and ROI for college? College is expensive and master's degrees aren't cheap and
Mhm.
you need to be able to pay them back. So, I've had friends who are in public service who intentionally have not pursued higher education even though they absolutely could, because they just know that they'd never be able to pay it back off. And to me, it's like kind of tragic, because you do have to make those choices sometimes about what do you love and what can you afford. Um, and UX is sort of like an interesting field because yes, it's technical. Like technology is how people apply it, but there's a lot of soft skills. There's a lot of visual skills, and the design can pay big bucks or little bucks, depending on where you end up and how you end up practicing it. Um, but I guess, it sounds like it's working out for you, and it definitely feels like a viable path.
Yeah, definitely.
That's awesome.
Well, so Jessamyn mentioned before we started the podcast that we interview the crusty, the old guard a lot. We have those folks on, and we do love them, and we love how crusty Jessamyn and I are too. But it's so refreshing to talk to somebody who's kind of seeing it through new eyes. And curious, do you have any like UX heroes or anybody you're kind of like really you'd really want to follow in the steps of, or think is like doing good work?
I honestly don't. Even thinking about,
Not yet. Not
even,
yet.
yeah, not yet. Let me say not yet. Even thinking about like outside of like UX and just in general, I
Mm-hmm.
don't really have heroes besides like maybe like my mom or something.
Ah,
But
perfect.
there's
Mom.
like, yeah, there's been people that I've like seen their work and I've admired, but hasn't gone far into like me digging into like what other work they've done.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, it's just kind of stayed stagnant in that area.
Yeah, it's also hard to meet your heroes. I mean, that's an adage for a reason. Um, so I think it's smart to be like, well, even if this person has done something really amazing or written this really cool thing that I'm like really digging, it's like, well, yeah, we probably need to check out like their body of work to make sure that like they're a legit hero. Another question I wanted to know about how you came to the grad program that you're in is like, what was the process like of looking for a program? And do you feel like what you found, was what you were looking for?
Yeah, I honestly started applying for like different master's program after I graduated college, honestly,
Mhm.
because I figured it out what I wanted to do so late. So as I was just searching what colleges had like good, um, like either HCI or like design related programs I can get into that
Mhm.
would help me um, build a portfolio or build experience within UX. Um, but I'm so happy that I chose Drexel. I think this is like the best place for me. Um, I just love the program, the teachers, um, like the way that the way that I was teaching myself, at least.
Mhm.
I was able to like understand certain things on my own, but coming into this program, everything was starting to click, and I was they allowed us to like do mini projects and everything, so we were able to like build some skills rather than just giving us readings to do and not really like applying what we're learning. So I really admired that aspect of the program that we're able to just apply everything that we've learned throughout all of our classes.
That's great. And do you happen to know like how old the program is? Like I'm always curious to know because like Jessamyn said, like there weren't quite as many options around a decade or more ago for this kind of thing. Is their program like relatively new or has it been around for a while?
Yeah, it's fairly new. I'm not sure how new it is, but I know like they're still making changes to like the classes to like the main classes. Like they're switching around some of what courses students should take as they're coming in. But it's pretty new, so they're still trying to figure things out.
Mhm.
But everything's running smoothly for me at least
Oh, that's
Is
in
great.
the
it a
program.
2-year program?
Yeah, it's 2 years. Students
Okay.
have the option to, if like being a full-time student, you can take 3 classes, or part-time you can take two. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm a I'm a full-time student taking 3 classes. So for me right now, it's like I'll be finished like a year early, since I took summer classes as well.
You did summer classes and an internship at the same time.
Yeah, it was a struggle.
Oh man, that sounds intense. I am curious about the you know, like you basically had a year, it sounds like, of coursework and things like that. And then you did your summer internship. I mean, was anything surprising or unexpected once you kind of got in the door and started, doing UX work for a team, you know, kind of on the ground, getting your hands dirty versus what you had been learning to do in the classroom? Was there anything that caught you off guard?
Um, I think I was expecting wh- I know I designed a lot when my internship. I felt like I was expecting just to mainly focus on design rather than doing certain research roles.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
like we in one of my classes we took a user research methods class, but the focus on that was for UX researchers and not really UX designers. So
Uh-huh.
my thought process was, okay, I'm a UX designer, so I'm mainly going to be either designing things, and then I'll probably kind of um, interact with the UX researcher, and like collaborate them on that. But I guess for me,
Yeah.
since I this was kind of different since I was kind of the only designer and I didn't have a UX researcher, so I
Yes.
kind of did everything,
Yep.
which was kind of good, honestly. I was able to apply everything I learned in school to the internship, um, and rather than rely on a UX researcher to do all of that for me,
Mm-hmm.
which gave me a lot more experience probably than other interns had.
It's an art. I mean, Meg, I'd love to hear your thoughts on this, but like when you're a designer, a lot of times you're running your own show and trying to do the research both upfront, and after the fact and evaluate, was this effective or is this going to work for people? In addition to the more open-ended stuff at the beginning. And a lot of that will fall on the designer
Hmm.
because the ratios for researchers are much lower. Teams, there's plenty of teams out there that they can't afford a designer, so the front ends do the design or the PMs do the design. But there's even fewer teams who will fund a researcher. And so they're, usually, the most funded projects or the most how would you say, you know, mature UX teams will have researchers. But I mean, in the years I've been doing this, I've just worked with a handful of researchers on a handful of projects. And I would say 95% of the time, I'm doing the research.
Yeah. And I think that's why because I kind of straddled like research and design when I was starting out and kind of trying to figure out like, did I really feel like I was a designer or did I want to do research? And and ultimately my decision to stay in design pretty much to continue, like I continued to make that decision was because I just noticed that the researchers were jumping in and out, to different projects, and I think that works well for some people, but there's something really gratifying about, even though it is hard and difficult work sometimes, there's something gratifying about being able to tell that full story like at the end, and to be able to like have been kind of close to every single part of the exploratory phase and the design phase and the testing phase and the implementation phase and the learning phase, which you get to do as a designer. And I don't see that quite as often as with research, because they are in shorter supply, they're working on high visibility projects, and kind of pulled to where they are most needed, and pulled off projects before they get to kind of see where they end up. So I definitely think you're right, Jessamyn. But how about you, Adaeze? Do you feel like you're more design or more research?
I feel like it's like 50-50. I really love designing, but I think doing the internship, it made me, although I didn't do a lot of research in terms of like interviewing, I only did kind of like usability tests, but like just kind of going over the past UX designers' research deliverables, and then doing the usability test on my own, it kind of made me really like research and
Mm.
just conducting it and being able to understand the user's perspective based on the designs and everything. So I really enjoyed that aspect, but yeah, I think it's 50-50, maybe like 60-40,
Well, it's good
leaning
that
more
you
towards
like doing
design.
it, because
Yeah.
I think it's really true that, like, or some of what I've seen is like there are sometimes these classes that kind of like split up roles. Like you're going to be like the product, you're going to play the product owner role, and you're going to play the researcher role, and you're going to play the designer role. And it's like, in a lot of ways, some of those lines are very blurred when you get down to the actual work involved, when you get into the office.
Absolutely. I mean, gosh, yeah, I think the research part to me is like the most fun, honestly, because it's the most surprising. You like will work on something
Oh.
and be like, oh, this looks good. Oh, all right, let's do it. And then you put it out there and people are like, huh? And you're like, oh, okay. All right, I guess we gotta rework this. So it's fun. I like that though. I think that to me is like what keeps the job interesting and keeps it from getting so rote, because you'll think that you're like, I know what I'm doing. And then somebody's like, I don't get this at all. And you're like, oh, okay. All right. Let's throw it out and do something else. So I think it's really fun. And the fact that you got to do your research is good. And yeah, I mean, I would definitely kind of set your expectation that you will continue to do your own research in the future. Yeah, so get used
that
to it.
that or it
Yeah.
just won't get done.
Right. But I think the worst thing that you see out there is the designers who don't do their own research at all, who just design and then maybe show it to a couple people on the team and then move it along. And you can really tell that nobody's thrown any stones at this thing, and it's a pile of crap. So I think it's good. It's really, really good to at least invite, get the feedback, no matter how you get it, just get some feedback on the thing
Mhm.
before you send it out. Well, let's see. I want to know, I remember, and Meg, maybe you have some memories, good and bad, about the internship process. And I'm curious, Adaeze, for you and your classmates, you're in a master's program. This is the big leagues. What was it like getting a summer internship? Like, when did you start? How much time did you invest? How many places did you apply? Was it a big effort? Was it stressful? How did it go?
I definitely applied to like 100 places, I
Oh
want to
my
say.
God.
Whoa.
I kept like a Notion document of like all the places I applied to, everyone that either didn't get back to me, rejected me, or I got an interview, or after the interview they just rejected me after that. But
Mhm.
out of like the 100, I got 6 interviews, and then Amazon was the only one that gave me an offer for an internship
Mhm.
for the summer.
You only need
Mhm.
one.
That's
Yeah.
amazing. Are you serious when you're saying 100? Are you being like literal?
I want to say it was probably like 95. I need to check the document again, but yeah, I applied to so many places.
Oh my gosh, that is wild. How did you even, I mean, that's gotta have been so time consuming. I'm just blown away.
I lived on LinkedIn, honestly. I would just search up UX internships on LinkedIn, and then I would just search up like Google's anything, and I would just apply to as many places I can while also just like making sure like looking at the job descriptions and everything. But yeah, it was very time consuming.
Did they
But
make you do like design exercises? Is that the kind of thing that the interns have to do to get an internship? Or like how, I guess my question is like how intensive was the application process? I hope there was just a lot of copying and pasting.
yeah, it wasn't actually that intensive. I think there was one application where they provided a design challenge, but that was just that one. And the rest of them, I just had to submit my portfolio website, my resume, and just fill out like the standard job application um, requirements, and that was about it.
Oh my God. I'm still in shock. I'm sorry. I'm like, I can't imagine. I mean, the stamina to have, and then the process. I mean, between like when you first started applying and when you had an offer in hand, what was that timeline?
Um, so I started applying around this time last year, and then I actually applied to Amazon like in December,
Mm-hmm.
and they actually rejected me. And
Mm.
then they came back and I got an invitation. I was like, oh,
Oh, nice.
yeah. At first I thought, is this a scam? Because
Oh
didn't you
no.
reject me?
You're like, wait, does this email say like info at
Yeah.
45765 Amazon?
So once I saw it, I was in shock. I was excited and nervous. But yeah, I got it. But the process for like the interview was so fast. It went by so fast. I think
Yeah.
I think 5 days after I'd interviewed, I got a response. And I think that was from like December to March. March, I got the response
Wow.
that I got the internship. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. So you started in September, you ended in March. So
Yes.
is that 6 months, 7 months?
Yeah, I believe so.
Oh,
And not only that, it sounds like that was like right when you started your program too, right? Like if school had just
Yeah.
started and it was your first
oh,
year, you're like, you're like, I need to think about an intern, or you and everyone else, I guess, is like, I have to start
oh,
thinking about an internship right now before
Yeah.
you even get into class and all
right.
that stuff.
And have a
Wow.
portfolio to even apply. Oh my gosh. I'm just blown away. I'm blown away. Well, I'm so happy for you that you got, an internship and it all worked out. I'm really impressed, honestly, at the amount of work that went into that. And I'm so glad. I'm so glad that we got you. Yeah. Well, Meg, I think we're hitting our time. Do you
We
want to do a
are.
couple rapid fires before
Yeah,
we
yeah.
wrap up? Yeah, let's do
So
it.
when we have guests on, we like to ask them a couple of the same questions. And the first question is, what's an app or experience that you're using that maybe isn't the best in the world or the highest class or getting like the best ratings on the Apple Store or whatever, but it's something that you use and you really need it and you really love it. Um, is there anything like that for you?
Um,
Something you can't live without?
I feel like the apps that I use on a daily basis are apps that like have high ratings. But I guess
Mm,
Instagram would be one that people aren't really happy with because of how much they're changing the platform.
mhm,
Even though I also don't like how they're changing the platform, they're making it more like they're moving away from making it photo based and then moving towards videos
mm.
because they're competing with TikTok. Um, I think that's part of the one of the apps that I that people might not like. People might not like, but I still enjoy using.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think everybody's competing with TikTok at this point. I mean, I just read an article about Google is like, people are using TikTok as their search engine instead of
Yeah.
Googling things now. And they're like, it's so much faster to just find it on TikTok.
Whoa.
So I
Whoa.
know.
I'm so
Isn't
old,
that,
man. I didn't even
I
know that.
know. They're like, why read search results when you can just watch a couple videos?
Yeah, I
All
definitely use
right.
TikTok as a search engine.
You do? That's
Yeah.
amazing. Oh my gosh.
Our,
Yeah.
our second question, and this might be particularly good for someone who's a student, is a funny or fancy word that you've come across in your UX HCI work that people outside of our profession might not know.
That's a good one. Um, I think over the summer, I didn't know anything about like Scrum and
Mhm.
being like stand up. I had no idea what Scrum was. I feel like even people outside the profession might know what it is, but I honestly had no idea what it was.
Totally valid. It is super weird, right? And it's like a rugby term. So
It's a
like,
sports term, yeah.
yeah, yeah. All right. And
That's
as our
funny.
podcast is all about survival, surviving our careers, how do you think you'll survive the week ahead? One thing you're keeping in mind, one do and one don't that you're keeping in mind for the week ahead.
Oh, definitely keeping up with my routine. Now that I'm starting classes again, I'm trying to stick to a routine, especially since my classes are asynchronous. So I really have to stay on top of my classes, and all the assignments I have. So that's one do. And then one don't would be not to procrastinate because I will procrastinate.
Mm-hmm. Don't we all? Don't we all? Join the club. You'll you'll either learn to cope with it or yeah, you'll just suffer like the rest of us. But yeah, I think UX and procrastination just kind of go hand in hand, honestly. So I'm not surprised to hear you say that at all. I think that's definitely something a lot of people can relate to. Well, everybody, Adaeze, first of all, thank you so much for joining us for this episode. It was such a pleasure to have you.
Thank you.
Yeah, and for all our listeners out there, especially the students, good luck with your semester. And we would love to hear from you. If you need advice or even just sympathy for your UX career, write to us at survivingux@gmail.com.
Surviving UX is hosted and edited by Jessamyn Edwards and Meg Kramer. Our theme music is, among other things, the on-hold music for Cisco phones, Opus Number 1 by Tim Carlton and Derek Deal. Jessamyn and I will be back for another episode, and in the meantime, we're going to go tell our parents again what we do for a living.